of the crisis. 999 crews were called to a shocking fire attack in Glasgow on St. Patrick's Day. The fire started in a driveway on Thomas Road in the city's Castlemilk at around 1:30 a.m. on Sunday the 17th of March. Police believe the intended target was a BMW parked in the driveway, but the flames spread to the garden gate and caused damage to the brickwork of the house. No one is believed to be injured, but police are treating it as suspicious. Scotland's First Minister will call on the country to reject Tory policies, ideas and values at the next election. He said that the second half of this year will be a historic win to make Scotland Tory-free. The UK is developing a tool for democracies to combat the deceptive use of artificial intelligence by foreign states like Russia and China as the world embarks on a major election year. Oliver Dowden, the Deputy Prime Minister, announced a plan to fight digital threats during a summit of global democracy in South Korea. And now for African news. President Bolo Tinubu has ordered the Nigerian army to bring perpetrators of the killing of 16 soldiers during a peacekeeping to justice. The soldiers were deployed to control clashes between the Ukuma and Okoluba communities. However, they were ambushed by youth from one of the communities. He said it's a direct assault on the nation and those responsible would face consequences for their actions. And that's the latest from Jambo Newsroom. I'm Andrew Baini.
Need security? Call Alpha One Plus Limited, a strategic security resourcing platform that connects you with licensed security personnel. We cater for our clients' security needs, from manned guarding, door supervision, event security, all the way up to close personal protection. Alpha One Plus Limited, your one-stop security solution. Call now at 44-074-2526-7909 or send us an email on info@alphaoneplus.com.
Established in 2006 as one of Glasgow's original mobile massage therapists, we deliver high-quality treatments with the ambition to forge permanent relations with clientele. We specialise in on-site massage, a type of treatment that has been specifically designed to complement the convenience and availability of massage at work. It is performed with the use of a specialist mobile chair, without the use of oils or the need to remove clothing. At Massage and Glow, we believe that massage should be a part of your everyday lifestyle. Regular massage not only relieves stress and tension, but also stimulates blood circulation, can help with pain management, and promotes good mental health, a must for your busy schedule. Various holistic therapies available. Contact us now on 07530 905 152 for your mobile massage therapist.
Across the World Wide Web, on your mobile devices, on social media platforms. This is Jambo Radio. www.jamboradio.co.uk. We are multilingual. We are conversational in the languages you best understand. We are Jambo Radio. Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Hello and welcome back to Love on the Stereo with me, Holly, from Swipe Right HQ, Scotland's premier dating agency for the Afro-Caribbean community. So happy Friday, guys. We're back again. If you were here last Friday, thanks for coming back. I mean, how can you not? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so tonight's episode is titled Single and Steadfast. We're going to be diving into the world of singleness in the Christian circles. And, you know, from the Christian perspective, obviously I'm not qualified like that. So I have a well-versed lady of Christ with me tonight. I mean, whether you're flying solo right now or you've been there before, or you're just kind of curious what it's like to date as a single Christian, or just being a Christian in this kind of the streets, as they say, a Christian in the streets, you're in for a treat. So we've got a fantastic guest. As I said, she's a Christian. She's going to share her own journey, her insights into this world, what it's like to be in the streets while keeping your faith like front and center. I'd like to dig into why being single is important, but I also want to talk about the tough stuff, maybe perhaps being lonely, perhaps, you know, what it's like to have Christ first, but also want some romance on the side, in the center. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out what she says. You know, I want to talk about the pressure of coupling up as well, because let's be honest, in Christianity, I don't know how many of you listening tonight are Christians, but I think that that's a key pillar for a lot of Christians, is kind of like coupling up at a certain age. So I'm glad that you're joining us tonight. And as they say on the online, the pressure is getting worse after a certain age for singleness. So I'm here to talk about that today. So what is it like to be single in these streets? Tonight, I'll be joined by my lovely guest, Inonge. We'll introduce her shortly, don't worry. But thank you so much for coming back. You can always catch the show on here at jamboradio.com, Jambo Radio Scotland on DAB in Glasgow and in Edinburgh. You can download the app from the Apple Store and from Google Play. You can also join the show from Facebook or YouTube, and that's Jambo Radio Scotland. And if you do want to join the conversation, excuse me, you can call us on 0141 530 2787. You can send us a text or WhatsApp message. Let's hear your voice because you're hearing mine all the time. It's 0745 990 6822. And if you're on social media, send us a message on Facebook at Jambo Radio Scotland or to myself and the other love gurus at Swipe Right HQ. And on X, we are at Jambo Radio 1. On Instagram, at jamboradio.scotland, or you can follow us again at swiperight.hq. You can also email us your questions or any feelings you might have. This is a safe space. Just if you want to talk to us about your Friday, I'm going to read your email, it's fine. It's info@jamboradio.co.uk or directly to ourselves over at hq.swiperight@gmail. So again, thanks for joining us. Happy Friday. Spring has sprung. As I was coming in today, there was tulips aplenty, and as you can see, the color behind me is very springy, right? So I hope you're also, if you're watching on YouTube, right, or Facebook, you can see that me and the guest tonight are dressed the same. I can't go any further without addressing this, right? We met for coffee beforehand, and it was kind of like great minds think alike. We really synced together. We said, it looks like we come from the same restaurant or something, the same office, but really and truly, we're just babes, and we think we're the same. We look good. Don't even deny it. Leave a comment and tell us that we look good in our jumpers. So without further ado, please help me welcome our guest tonight, Inonge. She is a Zambian Scot, a practicing Christian, and I think it's important to say that, especially in this part of the world, where everyone says, "Oh, I'm a Christian." Last time you went to church, Christmas 1992. She's passionate about sport and justice. Wait, I'm reading a diet quote from her. Right, it says, "I'm passionate about justice and I'm a right sporty babe." Her words, not me, right? And she also said, "One of my simple life joys is a cleanly worn tackle in a hockey match." That should tell you everything that you need to know about her, because we're so different. She's the kind of person who will go out and play hockey even when it's raining. Meanwhile, even if it's a sunny day, you might need to bribe me onto a pitch of some sort. So that's how tonight's going. We're very different. So Inonge, thank you for joining us this Friday. I won't ask you to kick us off with a prayer because it's not that kind of show. But I will ask if there's anything you want to share with our guests tonight or with our listeners tonight, before I begin tonight's interrogation into your private life.
Oh, what an intro, man. I was just sitting here cackling because, whoo! You set it all up. I don't have anything to add at this point. I'm just, I'm like, oh, what's coming? What's happening? I don't know. Listeners, I don't know. So we'll see what happens.
Well, okay. Well, thank you so much for letting us hear your dulcet tones. Inonge also has a show on Jambo Radio, so we can talk about that a little bit later on tonight as well. So let us begin. Tell us about yourself. Are you single? Are you searching? Or are you single and content? Are you taken? The people want to know.
Oh, so many options.
Guys, this seems like she's about to lie to us. I don't know, right? It seems like she's preparing a lie.
I'm gonna go with taken.
Taken.
Okay. Taken, but early taken.
Early taken.
Yeah.
What does that mean for someone who's not been on the streets for some time?
It means you're exclusively dating somebody. It's not like, you have awkward talking stages.
Right. Okay.
You're having a half conversation with this person.
Okay.
But this is
it's progressed past situationship.
Yes.
It's now like, okay,
Yes.
this is okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in this
Oh,
new zone?
girl. Why are you asking specific
I said
questions?
interrogation tonight. Were you not listening? Some people didn't read the terms and conditions.
I did not read.
Of this interview.
I did not read. A short while.
A short while.
A short while.
To be honest, I'm asking this so I can frame for the listeners tonight why you're maybe qualified to speak about singleness in the Christian world, you know?
Yeah.
Because if
I've been single for, like, I'm the queen of single.
Okay.
Like, I basically...
What does that mean?
What is that? Like I've been mostly single.
Okay.
I just realized, like, my whole adult life has
Mm-hmm.
been mainly, anything to do with dating has been mainly situationships or like talking things.
right.
So when I say I'm the queen of single, that's what I mean. Like,
Right, okay.
I'm usually single. Like,
And-
or I would define myself as single usually.
Do you think that you're the reason for the situationships, or do you think that it's always been things outside of your control that are the reason for this?
A bit of both.
Okay.
I think it depends what you're looking for in life. So I've listened to some of your previous shows, and one of the things you're always kind of talking about is like being intentional in dating and things like that. So my own view is, if I'm not interested, if I don't see a future with somebody, like, because like for me, dating is not just about fun, or I mean, it should be fun, but it's not just about having fun or like having, it's not like a hobby, like, oh, I'm dating somebody and then
hobby.
move on to the next person, like, cool. So like there's a purpose to it for me. So if I don't see a future with somebody, not that you need to get married on the first date,
No.
but if I don't see a future with somebody, then, you know, I will just end, you know, first conversation, I would just be like, no. Like,
Okay.
I'm not gonna go.
First conversation.
Yeah, like you get a vibe from people, you know, so they might
Yeah.
say something like they might listen to like a dodgy teacher, and then that's off putting. I'm like,
Yeah.
right, we're out. Or they might not necessarily be, I would want to date somebody that's Christian. So if they're not Christian, we might be getting along really well and having good chat, and, you know, might want to be friends with that person, but then dating, no. So I always would put an end to things before it gets to the point where you're dating. So that's a big part of it.
I like what you're saying, and I think that we've talked about this before on the show, where if you're going into dating, it's important to know who you are and know what you want.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to save you heartbreak, it's going to save you a lot of time, and clearly that's a strategy. Do you know what I mean? Because if you are maybe going into this unsure of what you're looking for, you could keep giving people chances, and, you know, that's 6 months of your life wasted before you're like, you know, at the beginning I did know he listened to that dodgy preacher, and it just, you know, over and over again all these other red flags start to unfold, and you could have saved yourself 6 months by cutting it off before you even developed any feelings. And then when you develop feelings, you can rationalize yourself to be like, actually, it's not that bad, it's you know, it's this. So I like that tactic.
And just what you said about like wasting time, like that's a big part of it. I think you get to a certain stage, maybe I've always been at the stage of my life, I don't like wasting my time on like anything, because my life is so busy and so full, and I think the older you get, the more there's just less time to squeeze. So it's actually like, am I making the most of this time? So you could maybe, because sometimes some friends would be like, oh, just give this person a chance, you never know. And it's like, if you know yourself, like, no, I trust me, I know.
Like,
like,
absolutely.
You know, no, but you might discover, I'm like, there's nothing to discover. I already know what I like and what I don't like. So I think it depends what age you're as well. Maybe when you're a bit younger, you're discovering yourself, maybe you could be like, yeah, sure, I'll give this, because like the type of person I would have been attracted to in my early 20s is not the same person, actually opposite of what I'm attracted to now in my early 30s. So so
Early
maybe
30s? I didn't know that.
I'm old. I'm not old. Let me not say that.
No, you're a young babe.
I'm a young babe. I'm a young babe. I'm a millennial, but like the real millennial, like the
real one.
the real one, like the right in the middle, like
the one who had to log onto the internet and then log off.
Yes, I remember Bebo and all every social media platform that's come through since.
I don't. I'm too young for that. I'm too young for that, listeners. No, I think it's really cool what you're saying, and I think as well an important thing to know is the age thing, right? Because I think the older you get, the less likely you are to compromise. Yeah. Because your life has become fuller and you're almost happy. So if someone is coming into your life, you're like, they better be adding something extraordinary for me to like move my life around to accommodate them.
Yeah.
But when you're younger, you know, you're still growing, as you're saying. So you maybe accept someone else who's still growing, to you maybe grow together, or you hope to grow together, but often you grow apart. But I think that the older you are, you're just kind of like, I know I don't like that.
Yes.
So let's just go.
Yeah.
Let's just move on. But yeah, that's great, guys. I did say last week that my guest tonight might be full of wisdom, as she is. So grab your pens and papers, guys. It's gonna be gems tonight. So know who you are and save yourself some time. I hope you listen to that. But so back to the topic. Are there any misconceptions about singleness within the Christian community that you'd like to address tonight as the representative? She's self-titled herself Queen of Singleness, and I titled her Christian qualified pastor Idonge. So tell us, what are the misconceptions around that word for any listeners who are maybe not Christians? Maybe they are Christians, but they don't know what those could be.
I think two things come to mind. One is just about, I mentioned earlier about like dating, and there needs to be purpose to it. But I think the pressure that can be put onto dating relationships that it has ended marriage means that sometimes a relationship really should end. But we're like, no, then I'm a failure. Then, I don't know, a feeling of I'm not good enough. I haven't achieved this because this was supposed to lead to marriage. And if it hasn't led to marriage, then it means something was wrong. Actually, that's like that could be a good thing. That could be a wise thing. If somebody is showing red flags, I'm always, proponent of saying if somebody's showing signs of being controlling, abusive, any, like, just run, like, don't even but like, maybe he'll change, like, you're not the Holy Spirit, run, like, just get out. So so like it doesn't, if obviously if everything goes well, that's where you want it to lead, but like if it doesn't, that's okay. Like I think that needs to be said. And then I think the other side of it is that you need to different circles. So depending on whether in white majority or like black majority churches or Christians, there might be different views on this, but that you need to follow whatever patterns the Bible is teaching about marriage in a dating relationship. So like I'll just bring up the submission topic, right? Because
I told you, pens and papers, boys and girls.
So that people have views on that and what that means, but then some people try and start applying that to a dating relationship, right? Whether you think like, yes, women should submit and whatever that looks like, the context of that is a marriage covenant relationship. Like it's serious, you've made your vows before people and God. But like if you're trying to do that in relationship, like, oh, my boyfriend leads in this way, or I submit to my, it's like he's not earned that, you know what I mean? Like you've not, that's not that kind of relationship. So trying to do marriage things during dating things, whether that's patterns of style of context of relationship. So that would be another one. The other one is, I think, a purity culture, what I call purity culture.
Okay.
I'll call it the purity culture prosperity gospel. Oh. So
big English tonight, guys.
Right, okay, let me get serious. So what I mean by prosperity gospel is this is a message in some circles of Christianity that says if you do things the right way, if you do X, God will bless you in this way. So there's the money one people are familiar with. If you plant a seed, you become rich, God will bless you. That is what I would call the prosperity gospel. I hate it. I don't think it represents Christianity. I don't think that's what Jesus came to do. And I think many pastors use that to extort people of money. So that's the money prosperity gospel. The sexual prosperity gospel says you need to pursue sexual purity, quote unquote, so no sex before marriage, whatever, so that you can have a good marriage, so that you're gonna have great sex, so that you're gonna have like all these blessings, or your marriage will just be the best thing ever. And so you're pursuing that not because I'm a Christian and this is the way I want to live my life and for Jesus, but you're doing it because I'm going to get something out of it. Right. And that leads usually to disappointment, because that's just not how the world works most of the time. We live in a broken world, and things don't always end up how it is. So if somebody has been promised all these things that just don't have sex with, and then everything will be great afterwards, and they end up in a marriage where maybe it's an abusive marriage, or maybe it's it's just difficult for different reasons. Might not even be anything bad going on, but yeah, there might just be difficulties. Then they feel betrayed. They feel like, oh, like this isn't what I was promised. So I think in the
even vaginismus is very common with religious women.
Yeah,
and that's because of exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, like you've got it in your brain. Like this is, you know, like from a young age. Like this is like it's like so. So I think we need to have we need to have a Bible ethic of things rather than a cultural. A lot of stuff is cultural, and we just add it to the Bible, and it becomes a mess. Especially if the African culture, and maybe we'll touch on some of that.
Absolutely, I think that, you know, what a great answer. Like, we could just talk about your answer right now for the rest of the show, but my memory is not great. So you dropped so many points. I'm like, let me not interrupt. But yeah, I think exactly what you're saying. Christians and your exact culture really does, you know, they mesh together, and that's how you can find all these different sects all around the world and whatnot. They believe different things. But I want to touch back on the first point you talked about, which is like some sort of achievement. You know, no matter what, don't leave this marriage, which is what happens in a lot of Christian marriages. And I think that, you know, the Christian's going to come and beat me tonight, but I'm going to say it. You know, I don't think marriage is an achievement, only because I think an achievement is something that you've worked really hard for. You get it, and then, you know, you can use it, you can flash it, and you can move on. But marriage is a commitment, so as soon as you put that ring on, you got to work even harder to keep it up. But I think a lot of Christians ride on this thing of like, oh yeah, now I'm married, you know, and then it's just kind of chaos, but you're never going to leave, you know, but you're just like, at least I'm married. And you look down on single people to be like, yeah, but girl, look at your own marriage, it's terrible. But you have a kind of hierarchiness of saying like, well, look at me and my coat of achievement, at least I'm a married woman. But there's no fruit in your marriage. There's absolutely nonsense in there. And I think that we need to maybe examine that a little bit in the church. But again, come and beat me, I said what I said. You also mentioned about the kind of prosperity type thing within Christianity, and funny enough, I watched this video of I don't know what country it was in, and the pastor got all the single women in the church to buy a wedding dress, come in for like an overnight prayer in the wedding dress.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Did you see that? And I just thought, I don't even know what is the word I'm looking for to describe such sadness that they've
sad and tragic, isn't it? It's like it's put as this like thing that's like, you know, like you said, as an achievement.
Wild.
And I don't, that's not helpful. Firstly, like if you're taking the Bible at it, the Bible celebrates singleness. It's not like, oh, singleness is good, marriage bad, or vice versa. It's like, no, they're both good. They're gifts. So when you say they're not achievements, they're gifts. Like they're blessings, and there's good and difficulties in both. So like a healthy view of singleness hopefully leads to a healthy view of marriage, because you don't see either as, oh, I'm better than you because you know, I'm single or I'm married. Yeah,
but you know, I think in the Christian circles there's a real hierarchy that's given
definitely
to marriage, and I feel like in that way it kind of puts a lot of women down. Like you could, especially in the African culture, you could be like a CEO of this, and you know, you could be super accomplished in all parts of your life, but then be like,
but you're not married.
Where's your husband? If I don't throw you out this window, like, what do you mean? You know, it's such a weird thing to me. But anyway, I can't even touch on exactly all that you said, but fantastic answer. I don't even know if we'll get through all these questions, because we've got a pastor's preaching tonight, guys. Honestly, no, she's really preaching. So do you have any advice for Christians who are looking, you know, a little bit about what you touched on there, like who are looking for, you know, they have the desire for a romantic relationship, but also they want to remain content in this kind of season of their life? What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably the worst person to give out that kind of advice, because... Pastor, please. I think because my view is always like just be... Like, even just the is like season, you know, like a season is something that's going to come to an end, right? And then there's going to be another season, but like literally
that's
you might
Christian talk though.
But like I don't even like that language anymore, because you literally might be single forever. Like that is a potential
Girl,
state.
if you say that in some circles, they'll call you a
Oh
witch.
yeah. Oh,
What are you saying?
I've said that to someone, and they've been like, "Oh no! Watch your mouth! Do not declare that upon your life." Like it's the worst thing I could possibly say.
Oh, it's treated as a disease in some churches.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So for me, I was very much like I literally loved love. I should change that to past tense. Like I really enjoy being single. Okay. I think I am okay with being single. So I think maybe that's a helpful starting point, like being content in that, because you have everything that you need, right? Like if you're a Christian and you believe that Jesus is the best thing ever, and that you can live your life to the fullest without necessarily being in a relationship, because we have relationships, like we're made for relationship. So I understand that desire, like that is not a wrong thing. I don't want to put anybody down, like snap out of it. Like that is a good desire to have, because we're made for relationship. But there are ways in which you can not be lonely, because I suppose that's one of the difficulties with when you're single, and have genuine relationship with people. Community is a big part of that. So friends, hobby, church, family, like just being intentional about those relationships, so that your life is too full. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, something is missing. So I think contentment comes from being deliberate about that. You can't just be like, I got Jesus, and then just sit in your room all day, and then you're gonna be crying because
Jesus will bring me a husband or a wife, and it's gonna be like your Uber delivery guy is the only one coming to your door. Unless you're prepared, nothing wrong with that, but unless you're prepared to literally marry someone knocking on your door, you better get outside.
So that second point, just touching on like that intentionality, like if you are, like I've got a friend that was like, you know what, she actually said, I'm more upset about the thought of not being a mother than I am of not being a wife. Which is interesting. Yeah. So she's like, I'm actually fine. Like she's so unbothered. And then I spoke to another friend who was like, I want to get married and have a family. Like that's what I want. I know that's what I want. So the way those two friends live their lives is slightly different. So the one who's like definitely is intentional about dating. So like they're not living my life the way I lived. Literally. I was like, I think everybody was like, you're probably gonna be single forever, because the way my life was, like there's no room for a man, like literally. But she's going out on dates, she's putting herself in social situations to meet people, whether that's in real life, whether that's, if I don't know, are they Christian dating single events? They probably are, maybe. And also
Christian Mingle or something. That's an app as well.
There's Christian Christian dating website, online dating sites are the pits, man. But like there is that.
What isn't a pit? That's what we're here for at HQ, right?
That is an option, and I know a couple of people who have found people through that. So like it works for some people. So try that. I tried it. It wasn't working for me. I don't like small talk. After they match each other and then they say hi, and then I'm like, I'm done. Like at that point I'm done already. Like I don't. But you need that small talk to get to, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I don't have time. Like I'm tired. I don't want to be like, hi, how was your day? What do you do? Like like so put yourself out there. And just find opportunities, but also try and think of like asking that question, like, would I be okay if I didn't find somebody that I wanted to get married to? And then just introspect, like if the answer is yes, or if the answer is no, why is that? Like what is it about? Because it might be like my friend who's like, I want to be a mom. So you might be like, well, actually, because I know I want to be a mom, and kind of need a man for that. But there's people
IVF.
that like that's people adopt people, like there's so many different options that you could consider possibly, if like you like children, and if that's the thing. Is it like I want to have sex? Because some people are just like, I just need, because then can we start thinking about like what is that, like is there a need for self-control there? And so there might be different reasons for that. So but most importantly, I would say it's okay to like find it difficult, because I might be saying stuff like this and you might be hearing like shame, like, snap out of it, be content in Jesus. But like, it's actually okay to want that and to pursue that. Like, that's fine. Be careful that it doesn't become an obsession or something that then starts to control you in a way that is unhelpful and makes it so that you actually lose your joy in the present. because you're always looking
futuring.
For, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you do that sometimes. I'm always like the next thing, and I forget to be present, and then I look back and I'm like, oh, that was so good, but like I was too busy planning for like, so like, just, you don't know how long you've got in this world. God has given you this gift, the opportunities you have, the friends you have, like being present and make the most of it. So so it can be difficult. Be content in who you are, be intentional if that's what you're looking for, but honestly, believe me, it's not the end of the world. And that's why I called myself the Queen of Singleness, because when I say that, like, I literally, like, I don't know if I could count how many adult years I've been like single for and tally them up, and I don't feel like I've lost out on that much because of it. So
amazing. What a great answer. And I'll let you mull on that, because it was amazing. And we're just going to take a quick little break tonight, and we'll be back shortly with my guest Inonge. Thanks for listening.
Yo, right across the internet, I could up on your mobile phone, I could up on your social media platform. This is Jambo Radio, www.jamboradio.co.uk. We're multilingual, we're conversational, in the languages where you understand. We are Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Need security? Call Alpha One Plus Limited, a strategic security resourcing platform that connects you with licensed security personnel. We cater for our clients' security needs, from manned guarding, door supervision, event security, all the way up to close personal protection. Alpha One Plus Limited, your one-stop security solution. Call now at 44-074-2526-7909 or send us an email on info@alphaoneplus.com.
Established in 2006 as one of Glasgow's original mobile massage therapists, we deliver high-quality treatments with the ambition to forge permanent relations with clientele. We specialise in on-site massage, a type of treatment that has been specifically designed to complement the convenience and availability of massage at work. It is performed with the use of a specialist mobile chair, without the use of oils or the need to remove clothing. At Massage and Glow, we believe that massage should be a part of your everyday lifestyle. Regular massage not only relieves stress and tension, but also stimulates blood circulation, can help with pain management, and promotes good mental health. A must for your busy schedule. Various holistic therapies available. Contact us now on 07530 905 152 for your mobile massage therapist.
Ushawahi tamani kuwa mtangazaji wa redio? Hakuna shida. Umewahi kuwa na show yako redioni? Hakuna shida. Unataka kuwa na tabia ya vyombo vya habari? Hakuna shida. Je, ulitaka kuwa na sauti na maoni yako kusikilizwa na watazamaji? Hakuna shida. Una masuala unayodhani yanapaswa kuwa kwenye vyombo vya habari? Sawa, hakuna shida. Je, una wasiwasi kwamba hauna imani kuzungumza kwenye vyombo vya habari? Hakuna shida. Je, vyombo vya habari vinakuwakilisha maoni yako juu ya masuala yanayokuhusu binafsi? Hakuna shida. Jiunge Jambo Radio. Kwa kujitolea, utafunzwa, utaungwa mkono na nafasi ya kuwa na kipindi chako. Piga simu 0745 990 6822 ama tovuti ya www.jamboradio.co.uk.
Yo, right across the internet, I could up on your mobile phone, I could up on your social media platform. This is Jambo Radio, www.jamboradio.co.uk. We're multilingual, we're conversational, in the languages where you understand. We are Jambo Radio, inspiring transformation.
Welcome back to Love on the Stereo with me, Holly from Swipe Right. It's Friday, and if you've been listening, you know that I'm joined by our lovely guest tonight, Inonge. And if you do want to join the conversation, tonight we're talking about being single and being a Christian and what that involves, really. So if you want to join the conversation, call us directly on 0141 530 2787. You can also leave us a voice note on WhatsApp or just a message on 0745 990-6822. So welcome back. Just before the break there, we'd asked Inonge what did we ask Inonge?
Loads of things. Do you want to narrow it down?
I know. So she was talking about the kind of, maybe perhaps the internal battle between wanting to be trying to be happy being single, but also still wanting to kind of find that romantic relationship, and the idea of it's okay to want that, but don't let that become an obsession or a goal to achieve, because you don't know how much time you've got left in this world. And if you maybe focus your goal on I must marry, then ask yourself, why must I marry? She talked about a few of her friends. One is in the camp of I want to get married and have a family. Another one is in the camp of I don't mind either way, I just want to have a family. And I think it's a really interesting point to bring up, because I think more and more women are thinking in this way, whereas before, if there's even more women now who are like, I actually just don't even want a family. And I think choice is important. And I think in a Christian lens, I wonder what that's like for someone to just say, I just actually don't want a family. What does that mean? But yeah, Pastor's wincing. I don't want to set her off. So just a couple more questions. Obviously, time is running. There's a lot of great chat going on tonight, but we've got a few questions for you. So just in a Christian perspective, a lot of the things you've said tonight have been really deep and really on point, right? So you've given advice to what it's like for someone who's single in that kind of way. But what do you think the purpose of singleness is? Specifically, and why would you say that it's okay to do it? It's okay to be that way.
It's okay because Jesus was single.
Oh,
nice. And he was the most fulfilled man that ever lived. Like, he was fully human. So like, think like that's my theology of Jesus: fully human, in all he, fully God also, but fully human and fully fulfilled, living his life to the utmost glory of God. And he was single. So if we say it's not okay to be single, what you're saying is, well, there's something wrong with Jesus.
Ooh, church aunties, I hope you're listening tonight.
Then I'm like, oh really, is that the angle you want to go with? Okay, interesting. And I think you also see other people in the Bible. So one of the most famous apostles was written like half the New Testament. The apostle Paul was single, and it's him who says to some of the Christians in churches, like, it's actually better for you to be single because you don't have the same worries that married people do. Like you literally don't have to think about other people. You do have to think about other people, but like, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm single, I don't have to, like, when I'm making decisions.
That's true, actually.
I literally just like create. I went to Zambia for 6 months a year and a half ago. I literally didn't have to I was just like, I'm taking a sabbatical. Bye. Like, if I was married, I would be like, so, I probably might not necessarily have been able to do it. Like, you can just like leave your spouse for 6 months and then go. So like there is things that you can do and ways in which you can serve that you can do whilst you're single that might be a bit more difficult when you're married. So so I would say, like, for that reason. And then the second one is just more a broad general, like, if you're a Christian, single or married, in between, divorced, widowed, whatever that is, all of your life, at any season, at any point in your life, whether you are
#season.
Season. I need to stop saying. I hate it. I actually hate it. I hate myself saying it. I'm like, stop it. Find another word. Whatever stage, I'm going to use the word stage. Okay. Whatever stage of life you are, right? Whether you're a student, whether you are working age, whether you're retired, your whole purpose should be like, what does it look like for me to live my life to the fullest for the glory of God? And if you are single, you should be asking what that looks like. And it might be different if you're single, never been married, single divorced, single widowed, and whatever age you are, it genuinely would look different. So the way I live my life,
those are different stages, absolutely.
Completely different. So my mom, for example, my mom's a widow because my dad died when we were, nearly 20 years ago. So like how she would live her life, like single mom, technically single, and how I would live my life, and how somebody who is 80 and is a widow, like. But so it's gonna look different. So that is a principle. Like there's a passage that talks about like being a steward of your time. Like, what has God given you and how are you using that? It doesn't always have to be like, oh, I need to do churchy things, but like, okay, you've got a talent for speaking, how are you using that gift? If you've got money, how are you using your money in ways that are, investing it and making use of it and being generous and looking after yourself? If you've got other skills or abilities or whatever it is, like what are you doing with that? So you could actually be married and not doing very much of that, and just you know what I mean, and vice versa. So I would just say it's okay, because actually that's a God-given gift to you, whether you like it or not, and you're supposed to be using it
take the burden from me.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's okay to be like, I'm struggling, because sometimes life sucks, right? And it's okay to cry out to God and be like, my life sucks. Why? Because you see that in lots of passages in the Bible, in the Psalms. But at the end of the day, there's a lot going on beyond what you and I see, and it's helpful to have that perspective, like, okay, my life is bigger than me, therefore whatever this looks like, even if I don't like it, even if it's difficult,
and I think what you're saying is correct, because it, especially when you're surrounded, maybe at this age of us being such young babes, you know, it becomes that stage of people around you now suddenly are getting married and they're having babies, and you know, your world is starting to get a little bit smaller, whereas before your life was full of friends and community. Those communities are like maybe getting more and more insular. You can be like, you know, what's going on with me, sort of thing, and then you can start to, I don't want to say settle, but I think this is when the pressure gets worse in church communities, when maybe you ever...
Worse. I love how you've just adopted the pressure gets worse.
I love that meme. But yeah, like, it's like as soon as you graduate, you know, there's a target on your back now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, you can maybe shake it off for a while, but then you enter the stages that she was talking about, where like all of your friends are starting to fall like dominoes, but you're still standing. You're thinking, Jesus, why? You know, you start to weep. But as she says, it's really not that deep. Use that point in your life to be like, okay, so I'm here. What now? And actually that falls into my next question, which is, how do you think that someone who's single can use that moment to prepare themselves for maybe a relationship or just their life in general? Because listen, let it go. But I feel like people need to accept that what I want might not happen. And I think that if you live in that future, you will never really live a full life.
Yeah.
So how do you think that being single can help someone prepare for a future relationship or even a future lifestyle without living too far in the future? If you can unjumble that thought for me.
I think it's a headspace that you have to maybe get to know yourself a little bit better.
So I want to stop you there, because I think that a lot of people, especially like me and you, like some people, when we say that, we know what that means. But I feel like I've spoken to people who practically, I like to ask, what do you mean when you say get to know yourself? I think some people don't know how to break that down, and they'll be like, X amount of years and I don't know who I am. What would you say, how I can get to know myself?
Who am I? I'll give some practical things, and then I'll give a foundational thing, because the foundational thing helps with the practical things. So it's just what do you enjoy doing, like genuinely enjoy doing? Because sometimes if you're in a relationship for a very long time, especially with another person, there's a lot that's involved in relationship, compromise and things like that. So, you know, you're watching football, you don't even like football, but your boyfriend like, so you find yourself doing things that you might not even... Okay, so what do you enjoy doing? Why do you enjoy doing it? How do you process your emotions, right? I'm, for example, a verbal processor. Like, sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking until I say it, and I'm like, oh, that's what's in my head.
True.
Some people, you know, you're talking that some people want to sit in silence. Some people don't.
I'm scared of those people.
What ticks you off, right? And I've discovered in the last 2 years that bad communication really annoys me. Since I've started running a charity, people not doing what they say they were gonna do, like I get so irritated to a point where I was just like, I did not know this about myself. Like, I did not know this bothered me this much. So what annoys, like what makes you smile or happy? And sometimes you only discover that by doing things, actually. So I wouldn't have known how much I hate bad communication if I hadn't been running a charity, dealing with lots of different people. Like, I would never have really discovered that, and I only had time to do that probably because I was single. And then you know, try different sports. So you might try sorry, not sports necessarily, hobbies. Sorry. You don't have to do sports, it's okay.
You come here to shame me. I don't know why.
Different hobbies, because you might try something, you're like, I didn't enjoy that. Why did you not enjoy it? Okay, there's too many people. Okay, you don't like people. Like, okay, but I enjoyed this sport because there's a smaller group of people. Okay, so you like smaller groups. So it's just like, you know, the opportunity to try different things, be around different people, to get to know like aspects of your personality that you might not realize, but also how you are evolving as a person, because you change as you grow. Like, you're not always the same same person. And so those are some practical things of like, what I mean by get to know yourself is, just be intentionally processing things. So interrogating when you respond to something in a certain way. Why am I doing that? Because then you start to even just asking people that know you, that sometimes they're not always right, but like they'll say, oh, Inonge, you like, oh really? Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why.
Yeah.
A foundational thing is self-knowledge comes from knowledge of who you are, who you were made by. So as a Christian, proper self-knowledge comes from knowing God and knowing who you are in Him. So for me, in as much as there's probably aspects of myself that I've yet to discover, my identity is in the person of Jesus. By that I mean, I'm secure, right? I don't need to find somebody to approve of me because Jesus got me. I don't need to find, a specific thing to like properly fulfill my destiny, because you know what, like whatever I do, like I can do that for God's glory. So that lifts the pressure. I think that identity of my identity is in somebody bigger than myself, lifts the pressure for me to like, I need to find my identity and I need to make it work and I need to discover myself. And you know what I mean? So those practical things that I've mentioned, it's not like you discover those things and then you form who you are. It's like, no, you already know who you are and that's your foundation. And those practical things just help you navigate that identity. So yeah, I'll stop talking now.
No, it's just someone was in my ear. They whisper sweet nothings to me in my ear. I will never tell what they say. But no, what a great answer. And I think especially in our kind of sphere where we're dealing with African Caribbean people, I mean, I'm only speaking on a Ugandan perspective here, but I think that it probably relates to a lot of people. I think that in Africa we're not really encouraged to think critically, come and beat me. But I think that bleeds into our lack of being able to self-reflect and ask such questions of, I didn't like that, why didn't I like that? We're spoon-fed so much to be like, okay, we're going to do this, and you're not supposed to ask any questions. And that's how you can find yourself in relationships, just doing things and not asking any questions. And I think if you know me, I'm a designer, but I think that one thing that I like to tell people when they're like, oh, I don't know, what's your favorite color? They'll just pick a color from the sky. Or when they were like 10, they're like, I like purple. I'm like, I've never seen you wear purple. So it's this exercise that she was talking about of like, okay, I'm doing this, why? I like this, why? Asking such questions. And when I put it back to the color thing, and if you're thinking to yourself, how do I get to know myself? How do I get to know what is my favorite color? I would say go look at us, what we're wearing. Look around your house. I bet you that you're going to start to see patterns of maybe you've got 6 yellow scarves, 2 yellow mugs. You start to realize subconsciously you do know yourself, but you've not put a kind of marker to say that, because I think in our culture we're really just not. We're not encouraged to think critically, and I think it bleeds into the Christian circle as well, where a lot of people will, you end up in a sermon where they're making you wear a wedding dress and you've not questioned, sorry, what part of the Bible is this from? You just kind of keep, I don't know what the word, you sponge a lot of things and you don't deflect, you don't reflect, you don't do any of that. So I think if we can take anything from what Inonge is saying tonight, it's literally,
don't wear a wedding dress.
Well,
sorry,
if that's what she's saying, that's what she's saying. But honestly, I think that this idea of practically saying how I want to get to know myself for my next relationship or for this new stage of my life, how am I going to do that? Because it is a skill that we really do lack, and I think it's a real shame that even parent-child situations, you're encouraged. It's almost like a disrespect if you ask your parent a question when they've said something, and that really creates this shutting downness, and you can end up in a marriage where you never ask your spouse anything because from a history you always just kind of like, oh, if I ask a question I'm in trouble, what I mean? And it just creates a horrible situation. And you go to church, maybe you don't understand something, but you don't want to ask a question because maybe I'm not filled with the Spirit enough, and then you're just led down a garden path of not making any sense, but you just carry on with it. So guys, tonight we've heard a lot. I think I'd ask her to summarize, but I think from myself, if I don't know, I think whether you're a Christian or not, I think there's been a lot of gems tonight that you can take away. If you are single, what's the matter with that? Let's really ask ourselves that question that you posed earlier about what will happen if I never get married. I think there's something along what you said.
Yeah, just good to ask the question. Like it's a great question to ask.
Yeah, and also even if you are married, like ask yourself, what will happen if this fell apart? Like, who are you without this spouse of yours that you've...
Or if they died. Sorry to end on a depressing note. Like, people never think about that.
No, but for real,
like, you know what I mean? Like, that is one of my biggest fears. Is like, your spouse dies, and then you found your person, and now they're no longer there, and like you don't think about that because that's your goal, and then now that person isn't there.
And that is why it's so dangerous to make your goal marriage. Make your achievement marriage, because what next? What happens after that? Every other achievement, there's something that happens after that. You're gonna go into a new job. You're gonna go into a new house. Something. There's always something that takes you next to the next goal. But this particular thing it's a touchy topic, of course. Tonight I'm not saying everybody must stay single or everybody must marry. I think that use your own life situation to figure out, I'm here now, but this is what I want. And even if you are married right now and you're still not asking those questions, Inonge said earlier, it's okay if you're like, yo, this is not going where it should be going. But we don't have much time left to go. So Inonge, what would you like, if anything, what would you like our listeners to take away from our conversation tonight?
I think whatever stage you're at, whether you're single, married, or confused in between.
I like that. on a piece of paper. What are you? I'm confused in between.
If you're a Christian, I want to encourage you that your life is never a waste. Your life is never pointless. There's always purpose, and there's always purpose to it, whatever that stage looks like. So be content in that, and let everything else, all the practical stuff we've talked about, let everything else flow from that. The foundations are key. If you're not a Christian, like genuinely, I like consider that. Like, who am I? Who am I? And look at your identity in light of your creator, because I think that genuinely makes a huge difference to your outlook, and to assurance in, this whole contentness. So I think the theme is contentness, but not in a cringy way, but like in a, hey, I know who I am. I'm good and I'm free. Let's do this, whatever life throws at you.
Yeah, I think years ago you said something like there's a difference between happiness and contentedness, and I've thought about that through the years, and it's such a good point, because happiness is almost an emotion. It's a feeling. It's fleeting. You can get it and it goes away
based on circumstances.
So if you're sitting there, you're like, I'm happy being single, until all of your friends are now married, and now you're starting to shake. I'm happy being married, and then a problem comes along. Try and be content in where you are and find what that means, because it is a stronger foundation than just happiness. And I think that's why a lot of divorce rates are going up these days, because people are just looking for a happy marriage, whatever that means.
They're chasing something and just elusive to them.
When the happiness goes, suddenly it's like, he doesn't make me laugh anymore. Do you make him laugh? Come on. It's
preach. Ollie, okay.
He doesn't buy me flowers. When's the last time you bought him a gift? Let's talk about it. But so don't chase happiness, as Inonge said, because that will come and that will go, and that will come and that will go. But if you are content, then the circumstances around you, they may shake. You may become a widow. You may get divorced, but you will learn to live in this new stage of your life. So I feel like we should do communion right now, because it's been such a church sermon tonight, and I bet you someone's listening and they're ready to give their life. But anyway, thank you so much to my guest Inonge tonight. It was I was going to say, it's a lovely service, but it was a lovely conversation. I hope that you took something away from tonight. I'd encourage you guys to listen back. She said a lot of great points, and I didn't pull any of them out. I hope that you can go back and listen and really mull on that, whether you're single or not, because again, she was speaking about the different stages of your life that can happen, and you might need to ask yourself those questions. And also on the this is an African network, I want to encourage everyone to become more introspective. I need you guys to ask yourself questions of why you're doing what you're doing, why you like what you like, why you don't like what you don't like. One time we were speaking with my friend, and then she said, I just watched this film, and this girl has an aversion to, I don't even know what kind of biscuit it was, and then it was like one of those strange sci-fi things, and she had a flashback, because now she's got powers, where her father was abusive, and he would like crush biscuits at her or something. And it's just such a random thing that your brain can like almost hide you from. This is so random. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but I hope you understand what I'm saying, in that you can find yourself in life doing things automatically, but you don't know why. And once she got that vision of the biscuit situation, she was just like, hang on, I actually do like biscuits. Like now that I eat that, it's just I had a terrible memory of it. So look into yourself and be like, hey, before I enter this next stage of my life, why am I entering? Let me not enter blindly, basically, is what I hope that you'll take from tonight. And yeah, happy Friday, everyone. I hope you'll join me again next Friday. Thank you to our lovely guest. Thank you to our stylist for this for this jumper combo. I hope whoever my next guest is, we're matching again, because we could really start something. Let's restart something. But yeah, thank you so much to our listeners tonight. I hope you have a lovely weekend and enjoy the sunshine that's coming out. Maybe I won't call it sunshine. Please don't sue me. The lighter mornings and the lighter evenings. I hope you enjoy that and have a great week. It's been me, your host, Holly from Swipe Right HQ, and you're listening to Love on the Stereo on Jambo Radio. Thanks for listening.
Yo, right across the internet. I could up on your mobile phone, I could up on your social media platform. This is